Hello guys, this is Zaza once again. So this is part 2 of my vlog. It's been a while since I've done, the first part, but I don't know, I just wasn't really motivated. I had a hard time thinking about what I was going to talk about and yeah, just in general, not playing too much. I'm back in Luxembourg now I've been here for a week or so, a little bit more, and probably gonna stay here a couple more days and then gonna go ahead and go back to London, finish out the year strongly, hopefully. I just recorded my last video on Ivy League. When was it? A couple days ago. But it's been published yesterday, I think. But so yeah, that was a little bit of a bummer. Just kind of hard to I don't know, just put an end to my video maker career, I guess, because I've been doing it since 2011, and even though it's been a little bit annoying at times, I've definitely, for the majority of the time, enjoyed making videos. Sometimes, when there's like a deadline and I forgot making or putting out the video, that might have been a little bit, frustrating at times when you're on holiday. But for the most part, I think that it was just a pretty good experience, and I definitely became a much better player because of it, and a better coach. Just through interactions with the members, and also just meeting a lot of people that I consider my friends nowadays. So yeah, that's definitely been pretty cool. I wanted to talk about that a little bit. Video making in general. I think that nowadays it's really hard to find people who want to make videos. Like, I'm not trying to take a stab at like the entire video making industry, but for the most part, you don't really find people who are at the top of their game when they, if they're producing. It's usually people who are starting to be break even, or like really small winners. Those type of people are starting to start making videos usually. I mean, usually it's when they're on a downswing or whatever. At least, I mean, that's nowadays the truth, I think. Didn't used to be that way. You had A. Jones, Shooter, you had Sauce. I mean, Sauce still does videos, but not Sinho. I mean, back in the day, a lot of high level people making content, and I think that if you go back and look at 2+2, like the old forums, you can find so many posts and like, I mean, people who, I mean, they were at the top probably, I don't know, like playing 25, 50, 50, 100. They were regularly posting strat on 2+2. And I'm just saying, video making is, everything else is evolving into the direction of people just not wanting to give out information. It's just become more and more apparent, I think. I mean, you see that people, even in Skype groups, like I'll find players who are just not willing to really go into detail when they talk about hands. They're just pretty vague about everything they say, very secretive. So honestly, it's something I've been thinking about. It seems like it's really an industry of selfish people, like a lot of selfish people. So I don't know if it's, I mean, everybody is selfish to a degree. I think it's just ingrained into our DNA, survival mode, and but I think it doesn't mean that you should still just forget about all your, I don't know, morals, I guess you could call it, just because money is in play. I mean, I've been a big asshole myself a lot of times at the tables, and I mean, God knows I've had my beefs with a couple of people, but at the end of the day, I still don't think I've ever, withheld any information in my videos. And when I talk to people, I'm always helpful. Whether they play 100 or 1,000, it doesn't really matter. I try to be open, helpful to people, because I think that, like, by doing that, you get something back. I mean, there's definitely people who deserve it, still deserve to be helped, and I think it's also important for yourself. Given what we do is just basically take from people, I think it's important to give should not be selfish and always just take in, because this is what we're used to. Like, I mean, with everything is free nowadays, like downloading all the movies, the music. And I mean, with poker content, it feels like it's the same thing. People just expect to be given things. So yeah, so from that perspective, I can understand why you wouldn't want to just, you know, put yourself into that, not in harm's way, but into that spot where you're just helping out people and they're just using you. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about really selecting a little group of people where you can say, okay, this is generally a nice person, so I will try to help this guy out. I think that opting for, it seems like nowadays everybody is just always cautious. You can't even send anyone a link without them being afraid that it's a virus. So it's just really, I don't know, it's very frustrating to be, it's not surrounded or identified, but I don't know, there's just so much bad rep going nowadays with poker, and I think it's something that people should try to improve upon. And I mean, the best thing to do is to start with yourself, you know, just, I don't know, just make a small gesture. Don't be an asshole. Don't grim people. You know, it's so easy to just sit out and grim. No one knows you're doing it. No one is gonna penalize you for it. But you know, it's what I mean. You know, just being friendly and just giving everybody his button. Those sort of things, they are small, but I think it's like a start. Like I mean, I don't know how many regs there are who just consistently do it. I honestly don't even know. I don't pay attention unless it's somebody I really don't like, or I don't play a lot of tables. Then I will be aware of, you know, if he grimped me or not, and I will tell him. But for the most part, I think it passes in you just don't notice, you know. But yeah, what I wanted to talk about after this also, I didn't want to spin too negative of a, I didn't want this entry to be negative, and it sounds a little bit negative, but I don't think you should take the negative part of it, or me aggressing anybody or acting like I'm above it. Definitely not the case, you know. As you know, when I do something wrong, this is the thing, I think. Like, when you do something wrong, that's fine, we all do, but you gotta be able to say, well, sorry. Actually, just apologizing. I think that most people are, not most people, a lot of people aren't capable of apologizing. I think it's something you need to learn. I mean, whether it's in general in life, I think it's just gonna help you a lot. Like, we're not perfect, and but it should be part of a part of you, of your character. Just that ability is really, really important. Like, it doesn't matter how much it hurts your pride or whatever. You have to do it. You have to do it. Anyways, so the next thing I'm going to talk about is consistency. Consistency in poker is a really underrated skill. Like, really, really underrated, I think. Because I notice it with myself. I think consistency in terms of actual level of play, and then second of all, endurance, like being able to consistently put out the volume you're supposed to, consistently wake up, I don't know, grab breakfast, go to the gym, and then come back and play and put in, you know, thousands and thousands of hands every day. I mean, if you don't play many tables, then we're talking about hours. Like, I think it's probably better to just have like hourly goals rather than hand goals. Definitely have the problem myself when I'm usually setting myself goals with amount of hands, which is not smart. It's probably way better to try to play as many hours as possible, but you know, at your A game, which should be your goal. So consistency is really, really important. Like, it's probably the difference between somebody who's crushing and somebody who's break even or a small winner. I think just not making mistakes, you know, like not, it's the same. I mean, it's so hard to explain this for me, but it's like you play a hand really well. That happens to me a lot. I will play a hand really well versus somebody. I don't know, like, it's a really tough spot, and I analyze the hand and make the right decision. And like, while doing that, I will make 3 small mistakes on the side. like just by not paying attention or not caring because it's not too big of a pot or whatever. I think this is something that most people have, and it's something that is really the difference between like some of the biggest winners I've played with, because a lot of the biggest winners nowadays, I don't know, like a Red Baron, Ospiel, Acid. I mean, these guys, I honestly, this is not a stab at anyone, but anytime I play with them, there's nothing going on out of the ordinary. They're all pretty solid. They're all pretty solid pre-flop, post-flop in general, but you never really see them make any huge spazzes. They don't just hand you money, even if it's a small bet. I think they really, it's that what matters. They care about every single pot, and this is like, I think it has to do with their mentality and their attitude towards poker. I think they're just probably perfectionists and trying to play just every spot as well as they can. Whereas I know about myself, when I'm in one of my moods, I just don't give a fuck, and I just, you know, if I will do something that is, I think it's minus EV sometimes, like 4-bet call king queen, or I don't know what, 10-9 suited, something crazy like that. I mean, and that's obviously not something that I do all the time, or that I do for any rational reasons, just because, I don't know, I want to gamble sometimes, or I'm in one of these moods where I'm just fuck it, let's go. But yeah, I think my point being consistently focusing, consistently being able to play your A game means playing every single pot like it's a big pot. And I think that's where most people have problems with. And like, especially when you're on one of these rushes, that's some advice I can give you. When you have like a really good run and rush, like you should really try to not become overconfident and just treat everything very lightly, but still try to really think about each spot individually and in depth. So yeah, that's most of the points I wanted to make. My plan was to talk about consistency, to be honest. I wanted to, I don't know, I wasn't sure what I was going to talk about, video making in general. I was a little bit saddened, like I said, to quit, but just circumstances, I don't know. It's, you know, it's kind of like, I will end this with this, it's kind of like you're one of the only idiots who's actually, I mean, you feel pretty stupid, you know, because you have all these guys who just abuse, and just because they can. I mean, it's the same thing, like you could go out and just beat up anyone. Just because you can beat them up, you just beat everybody up. I mean, it's the same thing. Or steal, and without getting caught, you know. Just because you can do it doesn't mean you should do it, or it's right. So that's why I decided to stop making videos. Basically, I don't want to help people who are not giving anything back. And I think that's the problem. Like if one day, I mean, I don't know, the economy changes again, and maybe there's a new generation of people who starts to play poker, and this generation dies off, which is going to be hard, because most of these, it seems like the new generation has become even worse, because there's not that many people who are just coming in to play and to battle, and everybody is, you know, it's all about maximizing the it's all about maximum EV, maximum profit. No one wants to give each other a single inch of edge in nothing. So that's what I'm saying. Secrecy, selfishness have become part of being a successful poker player. And this is something I don't want to, what's the word for this? I don't want to see myself as, or I don't know how, there's definitely a way of saying that, but I can't come up with it now. But I think you all know what I mean. And that's the main reason I stopped making videos. The pay was pretty lucrative, honestly. I got offered even a pretty good, you know, they offered me a pretty good offer, honestly. But like I said, it was just not worth it to me in terms of giving something and not receiving anything. Yes, I received money for it, but honestly, these videos, the money is not life-changing. The money is just not life-changing. So the reason you do them, and I've been doing it for all these years, is definitely because of, you know, I just wanted to give something back, and I enjoyed getting feedback. I definitely enjoyed getting some recognition. Of course, like I said, it's always nice to get to see people who are, you know, thanking you that you helped them improve. And yeah, I mean, can't say that it hasn't boosted my ego or anything. For sure, it for sure has. It for sure has given me a lot of confidence. So I'm not here saying that, you know, it's all bad and, you know, I'm too good for it now. Anyway, all I'm saying is that the reason I stopped is just, it's enough. You know, there's too many assholes out there and too many people who just abuse, and I just don't want to give them more things that they already have, basically. So yeah, like I said, hopefully something changes and I'll be back for sure, because I'm definitely gonna be missing coming up with the intro. This is Zaza for Lego Poker or ivyleague.com. But yeah. Anyways, this fucking video is 15 minutes long again, so I apologize for that. It took me forever setting it up, guys, so hopefully you appreciate this little rant here and take it positively. Like I said, take whatever you want with it. I mean, this is basically this is what a vlog is there for, right? Ranting, stating your opinions, and whether you like them or not, it is what it is. So, I think that we're done. I would like to thank Ivy League again, Lego Poker, all the guys who've always been supporting me and helping me, and just, you know, all the fans, any sort of way you contributed to. So yeah, thank you all, and peace.